Chapter.
Oh, we're recording. Hey guys.
What's up?
So, what's today about? This is Coach's Corner episode 9. Alright, this series has... Well, originally we were going to have 10 topics in this series, but we've moved it to 11 because our final series will be on picking a coach. And we did not want to make that the first part of the series because that's not about us. This is actually about you. But I think that's important, especially over the last few weeks. I've gotten a lot of Instagram messages from you guys. Questions, coaching questions, different things. So I want to go over how I pick my coach, why I pick my coach, and he'll go over why he's picked his coaches and how he picked his coaches, and we'll talk about it in that last series. So right now, we're in episode number 9. So we're coming to the tail of a new competitor for Coach's Corner of what to expect, what to see, and what to do. And this episode is about getting ready to show. So we're talking about the last 10 days, maybe the last 7 days of getting ready. So, you've did all your posing practice, you've gotten show ready, you've dieted, you've done your cardio, done your training. So now what happens? So at this point in time, this is about you and getting that final touch done. A lot goes into the last week, and my belief is you should look show ready when you start your final week. You should look like you're ready for show. You should be lean. You're not trying to take tons of fat off in your last week. You want to be show ready. So a lot of people will have to run a depletion. Not everybody. The reasons why goes based on their diet. Let's say, we're going to use me and Phil for example. Let's say I've been on 50 grams of carbs for the last 2 weeks. And Phil's been on 250 to 350 grams of carbs his last 2 weeks. And now we enter peak week. I might not have to run a depletion because I'm already depleted. And he might have to run a depletion to deplete out and try to super compensate with his load. Alright, so not everybody has to, and a lot of people don't believe in depletion. Some coaches don't believe in depletion. They don't believe you can super compensate with your carbohydrates and get more muscle fullness because the studies on it have never been done technically for bodybuilders, other than a few labs around here have done some small bodybuilding scientific research on it, but not mass amounts. I think Ben Pawlowski would be the most that has been done on.
Didn't Dr. John Bacardi in Tampa do one?
Yeah, with...
He did one too with going to the Olympia. Who was it?
It was done from... I think it was done with Ben and with
I can't think of it.
Jacob Wilson.
Yeah.
And that was, one I'm seeing about super compensation. But there's not a lot of research on it, but there's a lot of research on endurance athletes with it. And that's where the bodybuilding world has picked up the loading and super compensation from. So now let's talk about this. What changes that last week? Some people, nothing.
So yeah, some people nothing. Some people it's the whole kit and caboodle is being pulled in. Now, the depletion can also be if you didn't lose all the weight you need to lose and you need to pull a little bit more. This is kind of like your last hurrah to do so.
Right, which we don't like.
We don't.
But
that's not something you plan on doing.
Right. The thing I want to touch on this, guys, this first series of Coach's Corner is for newer competitors. And this is a very big case for some newer competitors because it's harder your first time for a lot of people.
You don't know how much you want to load. Some people don't need to load as much. Some people don't need to load at all. Every person should have a different peak week. Everyone should have a different program in general, but that's just some tea for y'all, sis.
I'll give you an example of this. I can have 2 competitors here. Competitor A and competitor B. A has done 12 shows with me. B has never done a show with me. Competitor A is probably going to be ready for show 2 weeks before peak week. Mm-hmm. Competitor B may be lagging 3 to 4 days behind on the beginning of peak week. So if this is the case, competitor B, with this depletion, we're going to ramp up cardio, we're going to cut back carbs, and we're going to do everything we can to get them to the leanness that we desire. Where the other competitor, we may be slowly feeding up all of peak week because they're depleted. So they may do a linear progressive load and start loading. So let's talk about some water intake. Some coaches adjust it. Some coaches don't. I'm a believer that does.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard people be like, "Oh my gosh, you cut your water," and then I've also heard people be like, "Oh, like you don't cut your water." I mean, it goes both ways for that.
I'll give you my opinion on it.
And there's let's hear it.
Alright, so my opinion is I increase your water uptake leading to show. I increase it. I make your body have to compensate by expelling its own water at a much higher rate.
Now, guys, just to touch on what he said, you have never gained weight because you drank more water.
No, you haven't.
I don't know how many times I've had a check-in and they're like,
"How much?
I drank extra water yesterday." I'm like, "Well, that's not why you went up in weight."
How much? When we do that, how much weight is lost by our people? 5-6 pounds usually, right?
Yeah, normally a couple pounds are lost.
I'll increase their water, which one increases your body's work. So now your metabolic rate just went up because you have to go through that much more water and your body has to work that much harder. But two, you're expelling water at a much faster rate. So, if I put you on 2 to 3 gallons, let's say 3 gallons, for 3 days in a row, your body's used to expelling approximately 21 pounds of water, a little bit over, but think about that. 21 pounds of water is being expelled from your body one way or another. And your body gets adapted to that. So, and I'm not a big use on a lot of diuretics. You know this. I don't like having to give somebody a lot of diuretics. I believe in very minimal use to give a very crisp physique. But if your physique isn't ready, it isn't ready. All the diuretics in the world isn't going to do anything for you.
I mean, we've heard the funniest of horror stories from the use of diuretics.
Right.
So that is something to be very cautious of. You should not overuse diuretics. And if you are going to use diuretics, please just do your research on
the dangers,
what type you're using, and what you need to have on hand in case something
there have
does
been
go
a
in the wrong
lot of
direction.
bodybuilders who have died from hyperkalemia. So research it, get your information in, because certain diuretics can cause hyperkalemia and it can be very detrimental to you and your health. And
or you can go hypokalemic. Depends what diuretic you use.
And I mean, and there's certain way you treat certain things, and there's certain ways you do it. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan on a big use of diuretics. Very minimum use, smallest amount possible. A lot of times it's a quarter of a dose of diuretic for me. And that's all I give people. I was like, that's it.
We've been awake at like 3 a.m. the night before show, and Clay was like, "No, you don't need one." I'm like, "Let me get a little bit.
You don't need
get crispier."
You don't need it. You look good. All right, let's talk about loading. What usually happens when you start loading?
You get hungrier.
Yeah, that's the one. He nailed it, guys. That's the one thing I wanted to hear.
Every time you load me, I'm like, Clay, I'm so hungry.
All right, guys, let me explain to you what happens.
First of all, you're loading on carbs.
Yes. So you have been carb deprived. You become super insulin sensitive. And now we're throwing carbs in you. Now your insulin is spiking up, okay? As this insulin shoots up, it's making you hungry. The response to ghrelin is just insane. Leptin is insane. It's all saying, feed me, feed me, feed me. And you're getting starving, okay? But you have an adequate or more than adequate amount of food, okay? That is a physiological response that you cannot control from your insulin spikes. You have to be strong. You've dieted for this long.
Do not ruin your physique.
Ruin your physique by overeating.
And especially for me, we've talked about this in the videos, but I don't like to eat a lot in one sitting.
Right.
So normally on my load days, I'm eating like, we've done like 8, 9, 10 meals.
We did 1,100 carbs
for first
call outs in him.
And then even for Universe,
we packed in some carbs for a week.
Just had me eating.
So guys,
carbs.
There's different loads, and this is what we're talking about. So one of them was a progressive linear. Okay, I had them eating at the beginning of the week, all through the week. loading them up. He was big. What were you, 2 or 3 on stage?
No, 191.
191 on stage.
191 on stage.
Which is the biggest you've been, right?
Yes.
All right.
The show before that, first call-outs, he stuffed me with everything in one day.
Yes.
Rather than a linear, gradually going up throughout the week.
Right, and the reason for this is he was on a show, a week off. He had to diet really hard, and he dieted for 4 days hard because he's already show ready. Let's not lie. He was show ready. He just had to get the water off and get the body moving in the right direction again because he did a show and we weren't planning on first calls, and all of a sudden it's like, let's do this show. Let's get some more experience before we go on the universe. Let's meet some more people, you know. We like that. So anyways, we jumped in that show and we decided to do it together, you know. It was a fun show with just our coaches and our friends.
That was a really fun show. I really loved it.
All guys, and we just said, hey, we're going to go do this together. And our girls came down and supported us, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was cool.
So we had a really good time, and he ate 1,100 grams of carbs in a day to get ready for that show. And he took every last one on the body needed, but we had to do them in small increments and in different types. Your loading may be totally different than this. You might be a bikini girl that your coach says, I'm not loading you anything. And that might be the right call. It might not be the right call. It depends on how round and how big your muscle volume is. Like I've had some girls that are wellness girls. They are not bikini girls, but they're in bikini. So I load them less because I don't want to make those muscles big and round. I want to make them more streamlined. That way they're not looking like they belong in wellness, but yet they belong in bikini because we kept them smaller so they didn't get a load. Also, don't think you didn't load enough sometimes because there's a lot of people, I could have been bigger, I could have loaded, because you're bigger the next day.
No, it's funny that we bring this up. I just watched the Chris Bumstead, I watched it a couple days ago, the Chris Bumstead Olympia series.
Yeah.
They purposefully did not load him as much this year because him and his coach found that he actually looks a little bit better.
Crispier.
When he's a little bit under, I don't mean to say underloaded, but not loaded as much as he
full
was
as he can
last
go.
year.
All right.
Okay, that's a better way to put it.
Here, I'll give you an example of this, okay? Sometimes you can load to your max potential, okay, and get your stores full. But what also comes with that? Water attaches to carbs come in, and then you get up on stage and you don't look quite as good as if you just held back a little bit, just a tad, you know, a little bit. Now you're crispier on stage, and as you pose, you fill up because you have some carbs before you get on there, and you keep filling those faster carbs in you, and you fill up more and more. And when it counts, it matters. When you know that you might have to run through more than 4 things of posing with somebody, that matters. The bigger you get, not smaller you get. So
that's always been a blessing for me, honestly.
Right.
Every time, the longer I pose, the better I look.
Right. Your lines come out better. You come denser and denser and denser. And a lot of that has to do with what we do backstage.
Agreed. Which we'll talk about
in another series. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. We'll touch on it.
So let's get past the load because there's 100 different ways. And this is not a loading video.
We could talk about loading.
We will have loading videos.
I was going to say loading videos.
There's several.
We could talk for hours on
this. But we just want to talk about it. Now we want to talk about the thing I hate most is shaving.
I hate shaving. What's your least favorite part to shave?
Underarms.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah. My armpits, because it's like, you get that big hole in your armpit, and I can't get in there.
It cuts it when you try to get in there.
And I feel like I always go cross-eyed, because one eyeball is like trying to see my armpit.
So, ladies, we'll start with you. Shave everything everywhere, from your toes all the way up to your fingers.
From your eyebrows to your toes should be shaved.
Yeah, everything needs to be shaved, okay? Then, after you're shaved, you're going to get tanned, ladies. So, you're going to be standing naked in a group full of girls, butt naked. I'm not going to hide it from you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Hey, guys, too.
If it's your first time, maybe you're embarrassed, okay? Because maybe you've never been put in that, but you will be butt naked in a room full of girls. And those girls will be tanning you. It's cold and it's uncomfortable. Shave your body, look show ready from eyebrows down, okay? Look show ready. Get in there and, shave everything. We've had clients come out and I put my hands over like, when's the last time you shaved? And this might be embarrassing, but pubic area. Judges don't want to see the stubble. Shave the day of you getting tanned is what I tell people. Everything.
I always do like a pre-shave kind of like Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, like Tuesday, Wednesday, I get the electric. And then I normally shave Thursday and Friday. Thursday, I get most of it. I really light blonde hair.
Yeah.
So I always have to touch up on Friday because I don't get everything.
Right.
So for Fridays, like I get the last bit off. So, and the whole week before show, you need to be exfoliating.
Thank you.
That is
Get
very, very
ready
important.
for your tan. If you have any skin issues, get a soap with an antibiotic in it. Get an antibacterial soap. Make sure you get correct soap and exfoliate every day leading up to the show. You don't want dead skin on because it's going to fall off with the tan. You're going to be blotchy and look funny. Guys, take care of your tan. We'll have a tanning expert from Hot Spot Tan Liquid Sun Rays come in later and do a series with us and explain to you what they see a lot of. But we're going to drive this home right now. Take care of your tan. Take care of your skin before your tan and make your tan look good because it can be a win or lose on stage. And I'm going to give you guys an example.
Is as annoying as it sounds? Yes, absolutely.
Year before, 2 years ago, I went up to North Carolina and did a show. They were the worst spray tan I've ever had in my life. I was green after
they say who it was.
No, but after they sprayed their, what is that called, sheen on me, I turned the color of this shirt. I had the best physique on that stage and didn't take first. I took third. And I was like, what the hell? And it was their fault, so I was upset. I went and talked to a promoter and talked to everybody because it wasn't even close, guys. When you know when you're that good and when someone else isn't. But everything came down to my tan. Now, not my fault. However, they actually spilt the entire thing of sheen on me. He was refilling it and he was holding it like this and he spilt it all down the front of me. So what turned me green was him wiping it up with a towel that wasn't made for tan. That's what we figured out later because I went home, showered, and they re-tanned me for the night show and I looked way better. But my point is, do what you can to take care of your tan because I had hands down the best physique there. Went in third place. Went around next weekend and went overall over much better competitors because my tan looked flawless because of who did it. Now, what do you need after you tan?
Oh, long sleeve clothing, slides. I see a lot of dudes slip on shoes. I always thought that was weird. I always wear slides. Slides, really baggy clothes.
Yes.
Really loose pants. You don't want anything that's going to drag.
You don't want lines.
If you have zippers, just make sure the zipper is not going to drag on you. Right. And you have to sleep in these clothes.
Yes.
Because if you fall asleep and you got a hand here, you got hands on your chest,
it's going to show.
It will leave a mark, and then the tanning ladies are going to yell at you when they go to touch you up and tell you that they told you to do so.
So take care of your tan. When you drink, be careful. Don't get it on you. Guys, I always do not let them spray my face until day of show. So I can brush my teeth the next morning and not have to worry about it. Usually girls don't get their face sprayed because they do makeup. But day of show, I'll tell them, hit me one time with my face. So I don't look like I photoshopped my face on somebody else's body. I actually had somebody ask me that one time. That's
actually
really...
what I do is I normally let them spray my face the night before, but they always tell me to just wipe it with a wet washcloth, so it kind of gives it...
Yeah,
I'm also much
much
paler than he is, so I actually have...
difference of our skin tones.
Different tanning instructions than most people because I'm actually pale.
We actually spray him with a special type of tan too.
Yeah, I literally get the DHP?
DHA3?
Yeah, DHA, something like that. Anyways,
DHA3.
Your tan is very, very important. You don't want to mess it up. Girls, when you go to the bathroom, they do make funnels so that you don't splash that area. Guys, if you're doing classic, shake it more than once.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm going to give you a hint. Inside, I wear a pair of pants with pockets, or pajama pants that have pockets in them. I always, before I go pee, I grab a toilet paper out, I put it in my pocket, I go pee, I dry it off.
Dap the
end of it, because you don't want...
No, because I've literally had it drip down my leg, and that little run, you'll see it in your tan.
And girls, you do the same thing. You get you a styrofoam cup if you don't have a pee funnel, and cut the bottom out of it and pee through it. Put it over top of it, and pee through that so it doesn't splatter on your legs, so it doesn't hit anything. And then when you get up, you have 30 dots that are like little small ones. They were microscopic at one point, but now they look at, an 1/8 inch big, and you have 30 of them behind your legs. I say that with all seriousness, guys, because we've been there, we've done that. We've been there, we've done that. Everything we give you right now is advice because we've been there before.
Yeah, this is all coming from experience. Somewhere, somebody at some point has done something that we've said.
Right.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to switch topics.
Okay, go ahead.
You want to touch on pulling sweeteners?
Yes. All right. So leading up the show, if you're using any artificial sweeteners, cut them out. I say 2 weeks in advance normally. Now, some coaches don't let you have them. If your coach don't let you have them, don't use them. That's your coach's rule.
Don't use them at all.
I allow my clients to have artificially sweetened 0-calorie drinks. So, well, BCAAs is one of them. Bang would be one of them, or an energy drink, or a pre-workout. Those are all artificially sweetened. Why it has 0 calories?
And you have to think your protein has artificial sweetener. Your BCAAs, your pre-workout, any of the supplements that you take, or anything that's going to be flavored is artificially sweetened. And unless it's stevia, your body will retain water. So
yes,
it is very important to cut them out early enough. Some people don't hold as much water, so we can maybe hang on a couple more days. But for the most part,
like Phil, I've cut you out 3 and 4 days before, I think.
Yeah, I know. I'm not really one that retains much water. I normally do it in about 10.
Yeah,
I normally tell people like 10 to 14.
And I allowed for first call outs. We cut it out Wednesday, I think. For
Well, we kind of jumped into that, so it was like a little bit of a different case.
Yeah, we weren't planning on doing the show, and all of a sudden, a group of 5 of us, like, let's do this together. All right, we're doing it together. So we trained for together. We did it, and it was great.
Yeah, so guys, definitely sweeteners is one of the things. I just definitely wanted to bring that up because
I'm glad you brought that up because I've
had people. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know."
So we're trying to cover as much stuff as we can in as short amount of time as we can because we're gonna have. I promise you guys, stick with us. We're gonna have topics of just of bloating, just of water, just of sodium, solely those things, and different options for different people. I hate coaches. I hate coaches that get online and say this is the only way to do it. Then you haven't prepped enough people yet.
Everything that we talk about, especially in this beginning prep series, is we're trying to give you guys a big overall understanding. I touched on it in at least one of the other videos, but there is no perfect way to prep somebody.
No.
Every person is going to have different circumstances, different ways to go about things because we are biological humans. We have so many different things that we react to differently.
Yeah.
And so that being said, everything has to be minusculed towards you. And that's...
Yeah, he's wrapping it up right where I would have. So what we've given you here is a broad outline. Take it, listen to it, use what you can't throw in the garbage. But I promise you this, there's not any episode we're going to lead you the wrong way. And as the episodes come out, you're going to see a lot of detail coming, and you might find yourself fitting in that. Guys, I get a lot. I showed him Instagram messages today. I'm getting a lot of them. Guys, put comments down here. I will answer them. He will answer them. I promise you guys. I don't care if you ask me my favorite color. I'm going to answer it. So
yeah, guys, definitely shoot us the comments. We love the messages. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. He shows me a message. I'm like, ooh, that's so cool.
This is today. Last week I got one from another country, and I showed him on our analytics that we have in other countries. We had like 50% of our views in other countries, and then someone sent me a message on Instagram telling me how they love watching us. That is like the highlight of their mornings. Like they wish we had more out. Well, eventually we will. Sorry.
We're coming. We have tons of ideas. Thank you guys so much for watching our videos. We really appreciate the support.
Yes, we do.
And so with that being said, go ahead and smash that subscribe button for us. Give us the thumbs up. Hit that like button for us. It really helps us out. Please leave your comments below on anything that you guys want to hear, what you guys liked about the video. Any more questions on the topic that we covered today, we will go ahead and answer those for you. Yeah. But with that being said, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, sir.